Hey everyone! Welcome to day 3 of my countdown to NA Fanfest 2026. So far, we've talked about the what and we've talked about the where. Now let's talk about the when. Traditionally, Final Fantasy XIV has had a pretty consistent release schedule. Back in the day, patches were usually about 4 months, and the 0.5 patch was typically about 6 months. Then, after Endwalker came out, Yoshi P announced that they were going to be making patches a bit longer in order to give the devs a better work-life balance, which so far has averaged out to about 5 months. Which brings us to the big question: what's the new normal for the 0.5 patch? This is trickier to answer than it might seem. 5.5 and 6.5 were both 8 months, but there's some factors involved that are worth considering. See, I think Endwalker was supposed to come out in October. I say this because All Saints Wake got pushed back that year. Those of us who know where to look know that they always added the files for events, the items, achievements, quests, and so on, with main patches. So when patch 5.5 came out in April and the files for All Saints Wake weren't included, that tells me that, at the time, the devs expected that by the time All Saints Wake would be happening, 6.0 would already be out, and April to October would have been about 6 months. Instead, it came out in December, making it 8 months. 6.5 came out in October, 7.5 came out in June. Again, 8 months. So, is 8 months the new normal? 5.5 being 8 months was obviously not the original plan, given the fact that they clearly had to push back the release date internally and still ended up famously having to push back the release date by a few weeks, shortly before its announced release date. Was 6.5 8 months because development for Endwalker ended up being a wake-up call for the dev team and they realized that's how much time they need now? Or were they trying to manipulate the patch lengths so 7.0 would come out in late June, like all expansions other than Endwalker had? At least, this has been my thinking up until now. But that thought process also had me counting 5 months from December when 7.4 came out, and thinking 7.5 would be coming out in May, specifically mid-May, because surely a Japanese dev team wouldn't release a major patch for their game close to or during Golden Week, right? Surely. But now we know 7.5's release date is the day before Golden Week starts, which tells me they were really desperate for 7.5 to come out in April. 8 months from April is December, the patch is coming out in December, the new normal is 2.5-year expansions, alternating between late June and early December expansion releases. I don't want to hear anyone claiming the devs don't want to release an expansion in December during the holidays, because again, they're releasing 7.5 the day before Golden Week starts. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video. The 2026 NA FanFest keynote will be in 2 days and 2 hours as of the posting of this video.